What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be making pizza sauce, and best time to do this is while you're waiting for your dough to rise. So if you haven't checked out that video, check it out right up here. Perfect time to get this all set up for you. So when you're making your pizza sauce, checked a lot of different recipes. This sauce has always been a challenge to me because do you heat it? Do you cook it? Do you not cook it? Do you add sugar? Do you not add sugar? What kind of, do you use tomato paste, tomato sauce, crushed? It gets mind-boggling, and you think too much about it and you end up with an average sauce. So this is the simplest pizza sauce you're ever going to make. Not only is it good for pizza, you can use it for a baked pasta dish like a lasagna, manicotti, shells. Anything, even for as a marinara, this works great. And it's simple. So you've got your crushed tomatoes, 28 ounces of crushed tomato. Okay? You can either use crushed tomato or you can get, if you want to be fancy, you want to put in a little extra work, you can get the San Marzanos. All you're going to do with the San Marzanos is literally get your hands in there and break them up into crushed tomato. It's going to give it a little bit more of that kind of authentic taste using the San Marzanos. So for our ingredients, other than tomatoes, we've got our 2 teaspoons of olive oil. We have 3 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. We have 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of pepper, and again, your choice, a teaspoon of chili flake. If you want it a little spicy, you can add that in there or add it to taste. In addition to that, we have some fresh basil here that we clipped off of our basil outside. You can get the tomato sauce with the basil already infused in it. Totally fine. It's going to do the same thing. This is just, we're being fancy. So this is how easy this is to put together. For this case, we're going to use just the regular old crushed. So we're not going to crush any San Marzanos together. Okay, so we're going to add 28 ounces, one big can of crushed tomato, 2 tablespoons of olive oil. We've got our 3 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. We have our 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper, and then we have our 1 teaspoon of chili flake, which we are going to add. Just get your whisk, mix this up. Nice, beautiful, dark color here. So the reason I prefer the Italian seasoning over, a little bit of oregano, a little bit of basil, is that the Italian seasoning has all of that combined. Obviously it's easier, but it has some spices in there and herbs that you normally wouldn't put in, like a marjoram or a thyme. And I believe it has a little garlic salt in it too. So those marjoram you wouldn't think does a big deal for your sauce or thyme, but that all incorporated in the Italian seasoning makes a tremendous difference in the flavor of how this turns out. So that's it. All done. All nice and mixed. Now at this point you can add your basil. I would say anywhere from 8 to 10 basil leaves or whatever you want to taste if you like basil. Now, if you're doing pizza, you're most likely going to put basil on top of your pizza anyway, so maybe not necessary. And with the basil, I don't cut it. You just simply rip it up. Just rip it and sprinkle it into your sauce. And that's it. That's all it takes. And I promise you, when you try this, you're thinking like you didn't cook it, you didn't add any real garlic, just garlic powder. I promise you, for the flavor that you're looking for especially a pizza or a baked pasta dish, this is going to do better than anything you could get out of a jar. And it's probably cheaper than anything you could get out of a jar, because most of you have all that stuff in your cupboard anyway. So let's take a little taste of this. Yeah, it tastes like the pizza sauce that you would get at a restaurant. It's got good tomato profile. It's got a little hint of garlic. It's not overpowered with seasonings. It's just very clean and it's very simple. And that sugar helps to tame that acidity from the tomato, the crushed tomato that we put in there. And that's it. You can refrigerate this for up to 24 hours. If you want to, you can also put this in some freezer bags, put it in your freezer. Cup portions is your typical size for your standard Neapolitan pizza. So just put them in cup portions, thaw them out, and use them. And it's gonna work great, and I promise you, you're gonna love it. So until next time, I'll see you in the kitchen. Don't forget to check out that pizza video if you haven't already. G2 out.